Hello and welcome to MCPSS Athletics. My name is Calvin Chris, Athletic Director for Mobile County Public Schools. Studio today we have from Murphy High School, volleyball coach Nancy Shoquist, and football assistant defensive coordinator Ryan Little. But first, let's get to the scoreboard. On Thursday night, Murphy clinched a home playoff game with a 37-13 homecoming win over Fairhope. Sutton led the way with 90 yards rushing. Viger dropped a very close 20-16 decision to St. Paul's. Viger will finish runner-up in Class A Region 1. Baker Hornets won their fourth game in a row as they defeated MGM 38-7. McMillan rushed for 110 yards to lead the way. Tony accounted for 7 touchdowns, 3 rushing, 4 throwing, as the Blunt Leopards continued to roll with a 57-0 victory over DeFleur. Theodore dropped a heartbreaker to McGill-Toolen 17-14 in a big Class 7A Region 1 game. P. Ryan led the Bobcats with 104 yards rushing. Behind the fine play of Johnson, Davidson defeated Alma Bryant 28-3. Williamson defeated BC Rains 39-19 to secure a Class 5A Region 1 playoff spot. Centennial picked up a big region win, defeating Gulf Shores 46-27. This past Thursday in the middle school football championships, Class 1A, Chestang defeated Scarborough 6-0 in overtime. In 2A, Denton defeated Pillings 12-6. In 3A, Hankins defeated Sims in 2 overtimes 26-20. Congratulations to Chestang, Denton, and Hankins on being our football middle school champions. And that's it for this week's scoreboard. After this message, we'll be back with Ms. Shoquist.
Do you have what it takes to be an Envision graduate? We are pioneering students to be all they can be, from 6th grade all the way to 12th grade.
I definitely would recommend Envision to other students who feel the way I feel. They really work with you, and they've gotten tutors, and you have online teachers to talk to.
It starts right here. It starts right now. Envision Virtual Academy. Enroll today.
I bought smartboard, that's wrong.
The quality of education that I received from the Mobile County Public School System really prepared me for global success. Being an international opera singer, I get to travel all across the world. And one of the most important aspects about that is being able to communicate and work with people. And the Mobile County Public School System really equipped me to be greatly successful worldwide.
Welcome back. Our first guest is volleyball coach Nancy Shoquist from Murphy High School. Going to the state for the championship.
Yes.
Nancy Shoquist, Murphy Panthers. So congratulations on a great year.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your year up to this point.
Well, we've had an incredible year. We qualified last Thursday for the state championships, and we haven't been in, I think, 5 years.
Great.
So the kids are very excited. They've never experienced this, and we've talked a lot about it all year. We started conditioning and training in June, and we went 3 days a week with that, and I'm telling you, those kids worked hard. And then we continue through the season lifting 2 days a week. We come up at 6:30 in the morning and lift, and then practice in the afternoon. So they've worked extra hard, I think, this year to physically be ready for the year, and I think it's really paid off for us.
Ms. Shoquist, tell us a little bit about your Montgomery trip that got you to the state and who you had to play. I mean, tough competition.
Yeah, we had to open up with Baker, and we had played them the week before, but one of their key players was sick that week, so we weren't quite sure what we were going to see. We knew we would have tough competition with them. We always have great matches. It's a big rivalry of ours. We fortunately showed up that day and played extremely well, probably the best we've played all year. And I really feel like we're in that peak situation where we're playing the best volleyball. So After we beat them, we qualified, and then lost to Enterprise in a 5-game match, I think 15-12 in the 5th game, which was a heartbreaker, but we qualified, so the kids were excited, and then beat Prattville in the finals to qualify in 3rd place in Super Regionals.
And who will you play when you get to Birmingham?
We open up with Grissom.
Always strong.
Always strong. Always just a great, great tradition. And the coach up there, Tanya Bradshaw, is a friend of mine, and we've all kind of grown up together, coached against each other. So they have a great tradition, and it'll be an exciting match.
And Grissom used to have, I think Miss Massey was up there. She was one of ours for forever. She did a great job when she was up there. Talk a little bit about your region this year. You had some tough teams in your region. Yeah,
Region Enterprise is in our region, and that's probably our biggest competition. We played in their tournament this year and actually lost to them in 3, kind of the same kind of score situation, but went on and lost in the finals of that tournament. So we had a great tournament playing against them, and just able to see some of our competition in our region.
Talk a little bit about the tournaments you play. I know you like playing tournaments, don't you?
We love playing tournaments, and we like playing tough tournaments. We played in the Enterprise, where we met Providence Christian, who has a great tradition. They've won state several years in a row. We also play in the Shrimp Fest, which is one of our favorites, and we finished 2nd in that. We lost in the finals there, and lost in the finals in one other tournament. Which tournament? Oh, the UMS St. Paul's tournament. So we play in great tournaments. A lot of the schools like to come down to Mobile, and they love the Shrimp Fest because of the actual Shrimp Fest.
And that's a large tournament.
It's a big tournament. So you have a lot of schools from all over. In fact, they had a bunch of state champions who came down to play it in that. So the competition was really, really tough. And it just gets you better. You play tough competition, and you win some and you lose some, but it always gets you ready for the state, for playoffs, which have been great for us.
Ms. Shokus, you've been around, a couple years. Took the words right out of my mouth. And have you seen volleyball get stronger down here?
Oh, definitely. It's definitely getting better. I think the coaches are buying into it, and we've got a great group of young coaches who have come in, and they're working really hard, which is exciting for us, who, we feel like are probably toward the end of our careers. It's nice to see that we're going to have some good coaches who are going to follow and keep the traditions and keep the volleyball going up.
Let's talk a little bit about your team and maybe some of your players.
I'm very excited about my team. I'm lucky this year. At Murphy, I never have tall kids, and this year I have 3 6-footers.
Great.
And I have one child who's been really highly recruited now. She's a senior and has really just decided she wants to play in college, Brianni Dixon. She's a senior. She's one of my 6-footers, and she's being recruited by Alabama State, Alabama A&M, Birmingham Southern, which UAB. UAB is where she really wants to go to school, pre-med. Very smart kid. And Bentley Odom is a junior. Bentley's 6'3", and she's being very highly recruited, as you can imagine. She is an awesome player. In fact, leads the state in kills. So I'm very honored to have her on my team. And then I have tons of sophomores. I have 3 sophomores starting for me. Alana Foster is my setter, and she's a sophomore and has done a great job. And then another key player is Kalasia Edwards. She is a junior, and I changed her from hitter to my libero, and she's done an amazing job as libero for us. So it's an exciting group. 4 seniors, 8 juniors, and then goes on down with 4 sophomores.
That's great. You got some
great
coming
future.
back. You really did. Okay, Ms. Shokus, we're going to break Coach Little in. We'll bring you back in our last segment. And we'll be right back with Coach Little.
I went to Murphy High School. In fact, to this day, my blood bleeds blue and gold. To this day, some of my best friends are the high school football buddies that I had. We really had a wide array of classes available to us. All of my future relates back to the foundations that were given to me by the wonderful teachers and principals that I had when I was a kid.
The Environmental Studies Center is a natural sciences education facility designed to provide unique learning experiences. In addition, wildlife rehabilitation plays a vital role each day at the center. Featuring more than 500 acres of rich woodlands, the center affords teachers, students, and the general public an opportunity to experience firsthand the natural environment. Environmental Studies Center. It starts with us in the Mobile County Public Schools.
Welcome back to our second session. We've got Coach Ryan Little, the defensive coordinator at Murphy High School. Coach, appreciate you coming by today.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to be here.
Coach, talk a little bit about Murphy High School season. Had a great year. Could very well be undefeated with a few plays here and there, but talk a little bit about your season up to this point.
We have had a good season, and you know, even the games we've lost, we've been there to the last second. And I think it's really due to maybe some lack of concentration on a couple key plays that kept us from being undefeated. I mean, we could have, we're in a good spot. We could be in a better spot, but I think it's been good spots to learn in. So, but we've also had some good quality wins against some of the teams from across the bay. Right. That has been nice. But I'm proud of it so far, and hopefully we can carry it into the playoffs. We got one more game against Bryant this Friday, and then we'll be hosting Lee Montgomery the next week.
Coach, a lot of people don't realize y'all have just been hit with so many injuries this year on offense and defense. Talk a little bit about that and the adjustments you have to make, you know, because some of them are pretty big,
yes,
big people, big contributors.
Yeah, that started, you know, week one going into Baker. We had guys that hadn't played running back, had wide receivers practicing at halftime on what to do. You know, good athletes, but hadn't necessarily played running back. We had one of our starters. We rolled with a couple, but tear his ACL before the season started, and then the other had been banged up with turf toe and this and that, and so we probably played 4 or 5 running backs throughout the season, and that's a testament to Coach Colley and the offensive coaches and the boys for just being ready when their time was called, you know, and that's pretty special when you're talking about 4 and 5 deep, and we really have been.
That's great. Coach, talk a little bit about your career up to this point. You're a relatively young coach, and you've got experience at quite a few places, so just tell us a little bit about where you've been up to this point.
I started out my first year over at Mary Montgomery. Scott Leslie hired me, and I spent 4 years over there. That was really good, Coach Leslie, and worked under Coach Leslie and Coach Johnson, Coach Lowell. Learned a lot of football. I'm very fortunate where I started because they were very, very, their attention to detail was superb, and hopefully I've carried that along with me, because I think that's what coaching's about. Had a chance after my 4th year to go with Coach Lee to Murphy, and actually coached offense for a couple of years over there. Had a real good time, and during that time really got to know Rick and Coach Colley, and we worked well together. And you know, a couple of years ago, sometimes people, you start wondering, hey, is this really what I want to do? Things had, you know, I just started just wondering if there was something else out there to do, and I thought about it, and for a little bit, you know, I stepped back and didn't even know if I was going to coach. I mean, during those 2 or 3 months, though, of soul searching, I figured out that that may be the only thing that I'm worth anything at, and maybe I ain't. But stepped back, ended up getting on at Citronelle for a year and worked up there. And so I've had a wide range of experiences from Mary Montgomery to Murphy, Citronelle, and then they had an opening last spring, and me and Rick had a good relationship. I didn't leave on bad terms with him, and when the defense coordinator opened up, he asked me, and I saw where it was posted and talked to him about it, and I'm happy to be back. I should have stayed where I was. So, but I'm real happy to be back, and I'm having a blast.
Well, that's good. I don't think some of our coaches sometimes take that opportunity to experience different places. Sometimes they get stuck in one place, and there's something to be learned at all of our schools, where it's inner city, county, or whatever. And I think those experiences will definitely help you in the long run. I do want to mention that Ryan's one of my former players, which I've been in it a couple of years, just like Miss Shoke was, a lot longer than Miss Shoke was, but it's a bonus. We don't get bonus checks, but when you see one of yours that your coach come back and be successful, it's really, and I'm so proud of Ryan and what he's done. And I guess more than anything, he's a good family man and got a house full of kids and raised them like they're supposed to be raised. And I just want to say that, Ryan, I am proud of where you are in your life. Talk a little bit about your specialty, your defense, what you running, and had a great season on that side of the ball.
Yes, sir. We're a three-man front. Some people, the buzzword out there is we're multiple, I guess, but we pretty much stay three-man front. We're going to be stacked against certain things and 3-4 against certain things. We try to stay too high if at all possible, but we, more than scheme, we tried our best to develop muscle memory, and especially in the box where the defensive linemen and linebackers play. We try not, if we're going to tweak anything, we tweak the secondary. I don't touch that, because I think the closer you are to the ball and the closer you are to another man, it's got to be all about muscle memory. You can't be thinking at those spots. So, if we do make a tweak here or there, we try to keep everything consistent in the box. And if we got to make a tweak, we do it with the secondary guys that are a little further away that can make decisions without having to mess their muscle memory up. And but we've stayed consistent with that. We hadn't changed. We've been a three-man front all the way, since they were doing it in the spring, and kind of stayed with it and used a lot of the same terminology they used last year. And I'm fortunate to have some really good players. I am, especially in the box. I've got Neil Farrell, which is an SEC recruit. I've got Kendrick Haynes, SEC recruit, and then other guys that work their behind off to do everything right. And then in the secondary, got Myron Collins, which has had some Division II looks. Hopefully he'll land somewhere. He actually had a pick six last week against Fairhope, and has averaged 8 to 10 tackles a game. He's done really well this year. Andrew Spriggs is another one. I think he's got a 27 or 28 on his ACT.
Oh, great.
He's a senior and a real overachiever and does everything right. He's got I want to say he's either first or second. If it's either him or Kendricks that's leading our team in tackles. So that is good to see. I love seeing somebody get all of their ability, and Andrew definitely does.
Coach, your two SECs are just juniors, aren't they?
Yes,
so,
sir.
I mean, they've got another year to go, so they should get a lot better. Let's mention a little bit about your defensive staff. I know you want to mention them.
I would love to. Coach Bush coaches our corners. This is my first year working with him. You talk about a worker. He does a lot, especially on huddle and working with the kids, and he's got a good rapport with the kids. Works really hard with them. Coach Lambert coaches our safeties. I coach the inside linebackers, and then Coach Barnes coaches our D-line, and Coach Curtis still helps out a little bit with the D-line, and they do a great job. I tell you, it's nice to know that when you're coaching your position that everybody else is doing what they're supposed to do, and they do an outstanding job.
I think Coach Curtis has kind of been revived. I saw him in a couple of games. He's a wealth of knowledge. I know he's been a big help.
Yeah, he's been nice to have.
All right, Coach Love, if you'll stay right there, we'll bring Ms. Shokers back, and after this message, we'll be back for our last segment.
It started with me at Murphy High School when I came here as a freshman. in 1973. I was very interested in math and science already before I came to Murphy. From Murphy High School, I was appointed to the U.S. Naval Academy, was able to get my college degree and also my commission in the U.S. Navy from the Naval Academy. But it truly was the foundation that I gained here at Murphy High School that allowed me to take advantage of that great opportunity.
I'm Ashley Rich, Mobile County District Attorney. The failure to obey school bus safety laws will cost you. It can cost you up to a $3,000 fine and the loss of your driving privileges.
But more than that, it could cost the life of a child. That's why the Mobile County Public School System is urging you to stop and obey all bus traffic laws. Hi, I'm Pat Mitchell, Director of Transportation for the Mobile County Public School System. We're asking you to obey all bus safety laws. It could save a life. Remember, stop ahead when you see red. Our future depends on it.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Welcome back. We brought Ms. Shokris back for our last segment. Ms. Shokris, I wanted to ask you a question about, you mentioned earlier about the weight room. How is the weight program? Used to, we never heard of girls lifting weights. It was, you didn't do it, but how is the weight room necessary now?
I think just because of the competitive level in colleges, when you speak with coaches, the first thing they're going to ask you is how high, how high does your kid jump? What does she touch? And you can develop and you can get stronger, but you have to lift. And they expect girls to touch 10 feet, and that's touching the basketball goal, rim. Mm-hmm. And I have 2 kids who are touching 10-1 this year, and that's because of lifting. And it's just, it helps with injuries. You want to try to get those kids where they're not going to be injury prone, and I just think it's so important for the girls to learn the proper technique and learn all about why they're lifting and why it's so important for them to get strong. And so we've really worked hard this summer and this fall in developing a better weight program at Murphy.
I would imagine, especially with freshmen coming in, it's a slow process because they really, most of them have never lifted.
Right.
And you won't, like I say, you won't do it right, but because you can get hurt.
Right.
So I know that's can be a slow process, takes a lot of patience.
Right, right. But they love it, actually. The girls love it.
That's great, that's great. Coach, we'll talk a little bit, of course, that's your thing, the weight room. Talk a little bit about your weight program there at Murphy.
Yeah, and that's I do part of it, but Coach O'Gwen does a outstanding job, and he's kind of the overseer of the weight room. I get to go in there a little bit during the day, but that's his baby, and he does an outstanding job. He's a high energy guy,
he is.
And he gets a lot out of him. And we've continued to work out through the season. I think it makes a big difference. I've seen years where, for whatever reason, you didn't have time in the schedule, and by the end of the season, you're starting to get weaker, and it shows up. But we're able to continue lifting them, and it makes a big difference, especially when you get towards the end of the season for some teams that may not have.
Now, y'all live through the season. A lot
Yes,
of them don't. Well,
Yeah,
I believe in that. I really
yes,
do.
sir. Absolutely.
Ms. Shokris, you are in the running every year for the state, and how do you keep those expectations up? Because a lot of times I think, especially athletes, they just take for granted they're going to go when you go so many years. So you've raised the bar. How do you keep those expectations up, especially when you got a new group coming in, maybe?
Yeah. It's hard. You just have to start talking early, and you have to stay positive with the kids, and you have to let them we try to get excited about it because I want those kids to experience the specialness. The thing that the state has done with the super regionals, when you make it to that level, you kind of get a little bit of an idea of what the tournaments are all about, and they make it real special, so the kids feel like those kids who don't qualify, they make it a big deal, and it's kind of like their little state tournament. So we just talk about it all season, talk about our goals and talk about where we want to be at the end of the year. And this, like I said, this group has never been. So they're so excited. I mean, it's like, I don't know, and even some of my former players have been texting and talking about, you know, congratulations, wish we had gotten to that point. And I'm, you know, so they're very excited for us as well.
I know you've been in it a while and you've seen volleyball change over the years. And one thing that you mentioned earlier about playing in the tournaments, are we at a point now where we are as good as the north part? I know for a while there the north part was kind of ahead of us, but do you think that we have, is it evened out some?
I don't think we're quite there, and I think the main reason is their club program is so strong during the summers and when club starts coming up pretty soon actually. They're a little bit stronger, their clubs are a little bit more developed, and I think that's where we've got to catch up with them. But I think we are getting there, and I think we do have kids from the South who are being recruited a lot more than we used to.
That's good. I worry about it. I want us to be ahead of them.
I know, we do too.
In everything. So, Coach Little, have y'all had, I know you got one game left this week with Bryant.
Yes,
have y'all been, and I know you're not looking past that game, but have y'all been able to see anything on your first opponent in the playoffs?
A little, and we kind of lucked up that Coach Bush is up from that way. We played on Thursday night. He was able to go up there and watch a little bit. I've seen some highlights. I know they've got some really good athletes, and we'll have our work cut out for us. So hopefully we can put something together and beat them.
Ms. Shokers, what's going to be your schedule when y'all leave and go up?
We're leaving Tuesday afternoon around 1, and we are going to drive up, and I have a coaches meeting at 6. So we'll check in, have a good evening, and then we play at 12:30 Wednesday afternoon. And then hopefully we'll move on to a 5:30 evening match if we win our 12:30. So you play 2 matches on the first day if you advance, and then of course the finals on Thursday.
Coach Lou, we've got about a minute here. Talk a little bit about, people don't realize y'all are up there every day in the summer. Give us a typical summer day for the kids, because they're working out. They're up there just about every day, aren't they?
Yes, sir, they are. Coaches typically get up there at between 6:30 and 7. We get, where we're at, we get all the water ready. We got the cows, the water cows, all that. Get everything. If anything else that needs equipment needs to be out there. Kids come in at 7. I'm sorry, they come in at 8. They come in at 8 o'clock. Offense lifts while defense is out on the field doing drills or whatever they can legally do, and then we swap, and then we'll normally come together from 10 to 11, do 7 on 7. Kids are normally out of there. Some of them hang out and do extra till 4 or 5 o'clock. They don't go home, but you know, and then we have our meetings and things like that, and we have our freshmen come back in the evening.
That's great. Both of you going to the playoffs. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll get a blue map out of it. 2 of them.
Hopefully so.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.